Judith is so awesome. Okay, stand up if you have a website that is live online right now. Stand up. Get that blood pumping a little bit. So most of you have a website that is live online right now. Stay standing if you are proud of that website and you just love showing it off. You love telling everybody about your website. More than I expected. Interesting. Now, how many of you are getting results with that website, Stay Standing, where you're actually getting people opting into your email list, you're making sales, you're building a loyal following? Look around. Not very many. That's why this is arguably the most important talk of the whole weekend. Because your website is the hub and heart of everything that you do online. Now, here's what I want you to do next. I want you to visualize for a minute that I'm going to give you a sales representative, somebody that represents you and your brand and your message. And I'm going to give you this person for free. You don't even have to pay them. This person is going to do your book signings. They're going to do your speaking. They're going to do your social media. And I want you to visualize, what does this person look like? Are they dressed well? Are they well groomed? Do they communicate well? Do they have good energy, good presence? Now imagine the opposite for a minute. Imagine that that representative is a grungy teenager, a teenage boy who hasn't showered in days, who has poor communication skills, who really doesn't care about you or your message, doesn't communicate it well. Wouldn't that be kind of embarrassing if that person was on your social media every day representing you? This is the difference between a good website and a not so good website, right? So we're going to talk about the 6 site must-haves to sell more books, improve your credibility, and grow your following. As Judith mentioned in the beginning, you guys should be on social media like crazy this weekend. And hashtag author you. Does anybody not know what a hashtag is? You're confused, overwhelmed about it? Okay. It's very, very simple. A hashtag is literally putting the pound sign in front of a keyword phrase. You don't have to register it. You can make anything a hashtag. But the benefit to hashtags is that when you add the little pound symbol in front of that keyword phrase, it becomes a clickable link. You can click on author you on any social network, and you can also type in those words just like that into Google and see all of the social media posts that have to do with that keyword phrase. That's why it's so awesome, because on your Twitter posts or social, Facebook, whatever, you can say hashtag books, and when you click on books, you'll see all of the Facebook posts or tweets about the keyword phrase books. Now, I went to Social Media Marketing World, which is an awesome conference, just a couple of months ago, and they had their own hashtag for the event, and it was hashtag SMMW14. But what was really neat about that is that I could Google that phrase and see all of the pictures from the event, see all of the tips from the event for speakers that I didn't even get a chance to see because there were like 100 different speakers there, and there were 6 or 7 speakers at any given time. So by using your hashtag, you guys will be able to learn from each other, network, and remember fun stuff about the event. So definitely make sure that you're doing the hashtag there. And when you put the @ symbol in front of somebody's name, that tags them. So then I'll get a notification about your post. So anytime that you have an aha moment in this talk, I would encourage you to post that on social media. I don't have a copy of the slides there in your handouts. It's just a blank piece of paper. But if you go to my website, amberludwig.com/EX, you're going to get a copy of my PowerPoint slide presentation. You don't have to opt in for it. There's no hidden catch. You literally go to that page, click on the link, and it's yours. But I have a lot of website examples here that I'm going to fly through, and I think it will benefit you to have a copy of those slides moving forward. That little squirt is me. My older sister calls me a little squirt. And I bring this up because when I was born, I had no idea what HTML code was. Didn't know what a website was. I didn't know what social media was. Didn't even know what a computer was. But you know what I was? I was capable. And so are you. The only difference between you and me is that I learned this stuff before you did. That's it. I'm not some crazy, coding genius or anything. I just learned it before you did. And I say that because I want that to really build your confidence here. You're going to learn a lot of information today at this conference and tomorrow. And you're going to go home and you're going to possibly be a little overwhelmed and a little insecure. And you're going to think, I can't do this. I don't have the technology skills, or, I wasn't born understanding social media. But anybody can learn this stuff, I'm telling you, and you should want to learn it. If you're passionate about your book, you're going to have to become the business owner, not just the author. And you're going to want to get that message out. It's an incredible opportunity. I was not born knowing how to speak in front of an audience like this. I had to learn that skill. I had to learn how to do webinars and send out email blasts to thousands of people and feel confident doing that. In fact, when I was a teenager, I was deathly afraid to talk to anybody, whether it was one-on-one or in a crowd. I had no confidence at all in myself. I had to develop my communication skills. And when I was in college, I was going to the University of Arizona down in Tucson. And I actually got a job selling Cutco cutlery, which is high-end kitchen knives. Who knows what Cutco is? You guys are awesome. The rest of you are missing out big time, I'm just telling you. The cool thing is that when you really believe in what you're selling, it doesn't even feel like selling anymore. You're just so passionate about it, you're sharing it with the world, and that's what you should be thinking about your book. So I got this job selling knives. I had never sold anything a day in my life before. I had no confidence, and I didn't feel comfortable talking to people. But they gave me this manual, and they told me what to say, and I believed in the product. I loved the product. So I would show up, and I sat down in front of housewives, and I read my little training manual, and they bought from me, and it was incredible. And I thought, this is so easy. It's easy to talk in front of people when you believe in what you're doing. I finished the #2 sales rep that summer in my office. I got promoted to become an assistant manager, and my journey kept growing and continuing. I learned the value of recognition. If I do a good job, they'll recognize me, and that was very exciting for me. So I pushed myself harder and harder, and that's ultimately what brought me out to Denver. I got a promotion to come out here and help run the division of 13 offices. Now I am recruiting every single week, recruiting hundreds of college students to sell Cutco cutlery. Once a week, I'm running training sessions for audiences as big as about 100 people. I'm speaking in stages in front of 300 people. And I'm teaching new district managers how to go out and open up their own office, and I'm 21. It was an awesome opportunity. But I had to learn that. I mean, if you look back at the beginning of the journey, I was scared to death to do those things. But you learn, and you grow, and you stretch yourself. And I think it was in about 2005, I had grown as far as I could in that company, and I was no longer feeling challenged by it. And I like a challenge. I'm not a person that's destined to sit in her comfort zone, right? I try to get outside of that and grow myself. So I actually totally fell into the online world. It was purely by accident. I was running this event called the Capital Factor, and some of you were even there, teaching entrepreneurs how to get money in their business and how to market it online. And I was running that event, and I got to know all of the speakers, and who was there but some of the most brilliant internet marketers that were making millions upon millions at the time. You know, Brennan Burchard was there just starting to launch his first book, and Armin Morin and Simon Leung and, Rick Raditz and all of these people who are mega stars, and I got to become their friends and learn from them, and it was awesome. And that really was my introduction to the online world. I had to learn it just like you. Again, I just learned it sooner. I started my company back in 2007. I called it NG Enterprises, standing for No Guts, No Glory. You guys like that? That's the motto I really live by. My mom used to tell that to me all the time growing up, and it really impacted me. And that's something that I wanted to represent for my clients. And I wanted them to feel that every single day, that I have to have guts if I want to experience that glory. I started selling websites, which is why we have this talk today. I've built over 250 websites for authors, speakers, and coaches. I really know how a website needs to be built in order to get you results, and that's what we're going to talk about today. As I built my business online, I started expanding my service list because I started to see exactly how to get results and how to build a successful business, having consistent income. Right? We all want consistent income. So I started doing done-for-you social media, helping my audience build their audience. We do copywriting now with Casey Demchek. You have to go check out his exhibit booth over there. Casey is a brilliant copywriter. And we just kept building and building to where then I was doing #1 Amazon bestseller campaigns. I've launched 13 books, made them all #1 bestsellers on Amazon. I would encourage you to utilize me this weekend. Come up and ask me any questions that you have when it comes to building a business online. And afterward, come up to me, and I want to invite you all to a free webinar that I'm having on Tuesday. So get this piece of paper from me, and you'll learn more about that. Am I doing something wrong over here? Pardon this brief. The cameraman is like, now I'm going to have to edit this out. Okay, sounds good. So let's get into the 6 must-haves. The first one is you need to have a good design. This is critical. Think back to that salesperson that's going to represent you. It's the difference between somebody who is well-groomed, that looks good, that's confident, and somebody who's, you know, looking grungy. I just imagine this teenage boy for some reason with the jeans kind of pushed down to here, you know, and they just don't have any confidence. Design is everything. It's that feeling people get. You know, even when you're even a speaker here, can you guys feel my enthusiasm, my energy, and my passion? I am speaking to a live audience, right? Okay. So you can feel that passion. Does that make the difference? Okay, so it's going to make the difference in your website as well. I'm going to go through and give you a bunch of examples, and I wrote the domain name for each at the top, and I would encourage you to go to these people's websites so that you can really look in great detail at what they are representing here. Have you ever seen a website like this before? No. And that's great. There are these pre-made themes online. How many of you have a pre-made theme versus something that has been custom designed just for you? Pre-made themes. It's really, really hard to get that theme to help you stand out from a crowd. That's kind of the only downside to going, you know, with the budget-friendly option. That's what I call it. We still build websites for authors using pre-made themes. I started with a pre-made theme, so I'm not knocking it, but there is a big difference versus a website that has been custom designed just for you, that really showcases your personality, your voice, and all of that. So this is the art of nonconformity. This is a book-specific website. This was a book called Launch. And I brought this up because do you see how it has the outer space in the background? And it really encapsulated the feel of the book and the brand. You go there and you're immediately tied into the idea of launch. Mara Pearl. Mara, stand up. Let's give Mara a round of applause here. She's one of our Author U authors here. And Mara is a fiction writer, and she came to me and she said, Amber, I have been looking for somebody to design my website for years, and it's so important to me. She was very passionate about this because she wanted to draw her readers into the experience and the atmosphere of her book. And that's exactly what we ended up doing. You can't achieve this with a pre-made theme. You have to go custom if you're really in this for the long haul. This is what we call a gateway page, where it's actually a postcard written from Mara here, and then they would click on that enter site to then go to the full website here. And that's kind of, she just wanted to invite her people in this way. And she has this beautiful landscape, which is actually, you know, basically where the book takes place. So now her readers are fully involved in that atmosphere. Do you see how that can really help your readers stay with you, you know, build that loyalty? Gets them excited, right? This is another client reconstructing Eve, and also a fiction writer, and she kind of wanted the same thing, where she really wanted her community to get wrapped up into the theme and the vision of the book. So we literally took Eve's character there, and then it was based in this sort of garden-type environment, and now her brand is completely unique to her. She stands out on the internet big time. And a lot of times when we go to a website, you can feel if you want to be there or not. In fact, did you know that when a website visitor comes to your website, you have 3 seconds to make a visual impression on them? 3 seconds. And if they don't feel it, they're gone, and they're never coming back. Isn't that shocking? Ugh, it's scary. So you have to put the time into your website here to make it look good. The next must-have is you must represent your message and your voice clearly. So many times when we're starting a business, we don't know how to market it online. What we do is we look at people who've been there before us, and we think, what are they doing that's so special? How are they getting results? And all of a sudden, you start to change who you are in very subtle ways to be more like this person because they're getting results. I think that's one of the worst things that you can do. Or if you think, oh, I need to be professional, you have all of these ideas in your head of what it should be like. What I stand for is you have to be 100% authentically you. And it's not always easy to do that, is it? Because we want to fit in, we want to belong, we want to people please. You have to be 100% authentically you if you want to be successful. You are uniquely made. You have a personality that nobody else on earth has. And your readers want that from you. They want to see that from you. So you're going to have to communicate that. And I remember the first time I tried to do that, it was hard. Right? But no guts, no glory. And now I say things like, holy cow. And for some reason, my audience loves that about me. But I never would have said holy cow in the beginning because I thought, ooh, is that professional enough? Is that weird? Are people going to accept that? I say holy cow, and Rhonda Hartman loves it. She tells me on social media. Marie Forleo. How many of you know Marie Forleo? Raise your hand. Oh, wow. You're in for a treat. MarieForleo.com, write it down. Marie is kind of similar to me. She helps people create a business and life that they love. Her thing is that she puts out a weekly video on Tuesdays. Every single Tuesday, you can count on that video from Marie, and she calls it Q&A Tuesday. You'll kind of type in a question to Marie, and then she'll do a video responding to you. Now, it's not for everybody, but most people really love Marie. And I've seen her, I've watched the evolution of Marie and what she's doing, and she's coming more and more into herself and who she is. I mean, look at this. One of her posts here says, "What my bare buns can teach you about success." I would never say bare buns. I mean, I would never say that, but it's not in my personality, and it's totally in hers. And her following loves that she talks like this, that she's Marie. And a lot of people respect that because so many of us struggle to be who we really are. But it's very, very powerful, and I'm going to keep bringing Marie up throughout the rest of this talk as well. Oh, Mike Michalowicz. This guy is hilarious. I love him. Mike Michalowicz he has 3 different businesses. All of them have turned into multi-million-dollar businesses, and now he writes books and does seminars, a lot of speaking, teaching you how to build a profitable business. He has 3 books, Profit First, which is coming out in a couple of months, actually, The Pumpkin Plan, and The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur. I just love those titles. And this is the homepage of Mike's website. Now, here's what's cool. Down here at the bottom left, I know you can't read this, but it says, "I can't stand this guy, get me out of here," which is just kind of funny. And it's literally a link that gets you out of the website. I mean, who does that? Then, as you hover on these links here, I'll give you an example. Now, look at his photo right now, nice guy. And then it changes when you hover on bio, and that pop-up comes up that says, "Seriously, you don't know who I am? You sound like my wife." And that's his personality, and he's letting that out. But the right people are going to love that. See, I think that's hilarious. When I hover on blog, the photo changes again, and it says important ramblings, minus the ramblings and important parts. So that's just one way. I encourage you to go to his website, because even as you click through the different pages, you'll see different photos of Mike and how he's really letting that humor shine through. The third must-have is you want to create solid content. We're going to dig into a lot of different examples about content. As an author, these are the bare bones, most basic pages you have to have on your website. The first one is about the author. There are no rules for this page. Everybody's going to have a different opinion of what you should put on that page. My opinion is that you just be you. Tell your story, however that is. Your authors, get creative, have fun with it. Showcase your personality, show photos from your past. You can make this page whatever you want it to be. The About page is one of the most clicked pages on your whole website. Did you know that? Which means most people are going to this page, and most people's About page isn't very good, and it doesn't grab you, and it doesn't tell a story. If you know most people are going to be going to that page, then I would encourage you in your notes there to write down, revisit, edit, and make my About page better. It should showcase who you are. The next one is a book page. This is kind of obvious, but I've actually seen a lot of poor quality book pages out there. I want to be able to download the first chapter of your book before I buy it. I want to be able to see a riveting description of that book, not just something that's kind of boring. Really get into it. Get into the character. Whatever your book is about, showcase your personality here. Get me excited about it. Because you've probably, you're so used to your book and your topic, but nobody else knows what it's about. You're going to have to get into the mindset of the reader who doesn't know you. They don't know what your message is or what your book is about. So you're going to have to sell it to them and where they're at right now, coming to your website for the first time. You should have testimonials and reader reviews on your book page. You should have, in fact, we'll get into other examples in a minute, so I'm going to hold that thought. The next one is a media page, and I'm going to show you an example, and the last one is a contact page. This type of setup should be on your book page, where you're offering it in as many different formats as possible at different price points. This is a good example from reconstructingeve.com, and I love having the logos there. Not just a link to Amazon, but actually put Amazon's logo there. It's just a credibility booster. People like clicking on images, so kind of keep that in mind. This is an example of Mike's website here again, and on the right side of the screen there, that's what his sidebar looks like. He has thumbnail images of his books right there in the sidebar, and then if you even look at the buttons, he has a button to Amazon, Audible, and iTunes where you can buy that book right there on the sidebar. That way nobody has to click on the books page in order to buy the book. Then this is what his book page looks like, and look at all the different international versions of the book. That's an instant credibility booster. I can tell that, okay, he's been successful, he knows what he's talking about, and that gets me encouraged to buy. This is an example of Mike's media page. Who has a media page on their website? Okay. You have to have a media page on your website. In fact, I would say that for everybody. Even if you haven't written your book yet, especially if you're a speaker, author, it doesn't matter. Everybody should have a media page. You should have different photos that people can download of you. So he's got not only his books, but a lot of different shots down there. You should have a fun one, a professional one, and I would encourage you to add a black and white photo to your media page. That's going to be important as well. You could have different versions of your bio. On my media page, I have 3 different versions of my bio. One that's 50 words, one that's about 100 words, and one that's about 200 words. It's so awesome having a media page because I'm interviewed a lot on either podcasts or video, interviews, whatever it is, and they're always asking for my bio and my photos, and I say, here, go get what you need from my media page, and it's just so much easier that way. Mike also has downloadable book summaries, press releases, interview questions, intros, and outros. Again, I would encourage you to go to Mike's website as a great example of some different things you can put on your media page. Social proof. When people go to your website, they need to know that you are active, that you are the real deal, that people love you. And you can do that, one, through testimonials. I am probably collecting testimonials more than anybody. If you write a testimonial on, my LinkedIn page in an email, if you send me a video, if you say something nice about me in Facebook, I save everything because you never know when it's going to come in handy. If you can add somebody's photo next to that testimonial, you'll get far better results. Far better results with that. When you get a testimonial, ask, can I publish this on my website, and can I publish your photo next to it? So definitely have a testimonials page, but also I have testimonials everywhere on my website. They're on the sidebar. They're rotating in the footer. They are on individual pages, for example, work with me pages. Maybe it's a coaching page or something like that, and I have testimonials embedded in that page. You can't have enough social proof. It's only going to help you sell more. Another way that you can add credibility is these as seen in logos. You can actually buy this as a service. I don't know if you knew that. There's a woman named Stephanie Hartman, Hartman. You can hire her for about $2,000, and she's going to look at all of the content that you've ever written, video, podcast, and blog posts. What she's going to do is possibly suggest a few little tweaks, and then she's going to submit that content to all of the biggest media outlets. Then you can say, I've been seen on MSNBC, Time, Magazine, CNN, whatever it is. Believe it or not, huge credibility booster. This is going to help you sell more books for sure. It's going to help you get more speaking engagements. For those of you that are also doing coaching, it's going to help you get more coaching clients. When you have your base foundation of content, it's time to grow your website. Still, thing is bugging me. It's time to grow your website. You do not put up a website one time and walk away from it. Your website is meant to grow and evolve over time. If you're out there building a following, they're going to want more from you, and they don't want to have to wait to get your next book. They're going to want more every single week from you. The best way to do that is through a blog. How many of you have a blog in here? Yay! How many of you are posting on it regularly? Not as many. How many like blogging? Okay, good. Judith, I see you work in the audience here. They like blogging. Good for you. All right. Blogging is an incredible, incredible tool. In fact, the first thing that I did when I put up my website is I knew I had to be a blogging machine. Usually you have to get to 100 blog posts before you really start seeing a lot of traction from that. And that's a big number. I was blogging 3-4 times a week because I wanted to get there as fast as possible. I didn't want to waste time. But what happens is Google is going to want to see that you're in it for the long haul. That's why it takes so many. Most people start a blog, make a few posts, they feel like nobody cares, nobody's watching, it's a waste of their time, and they stop, right? If you can just push past that barrier, if you can hang in there and keep blogging, just keep trusting, all of a sudden one day everything is going to change for you, and you're going to see, whoa, a lot of more people are opting into my email list, a lot more people are commenting, a lot more people are sharing my blog posts on social media. So it's a great way to help you build that following even faster, and it's also going to prove your credibility. It's going to prove that you're in it for the long haul, which people are desperate to see. Other ways that you can do it, video, podcast. Does anybody not know what a podcast is? So basically think about it like a radio show. That's the way I always thought about it. You can record individual audio episodes that people can download for free on iTunes. And we are in the middle of this huge burst of podcasts. They're happening all over the place, and I'll show you an example of the power of that in just a minute. Another way that you can grow your content, right, is you grow your content. That means you're growing your business online. Freebies, free product. We're going to be talking about some great ways to create some free product in a minute, and then regular product to monetize. We come back to Marie Forleo here. I gave you the example where she's doing that weekly video, and that's it. That is her blog post. She records the video and then turns it into a blog post. Right now, the power of that, in just a few years, she has 93,000 subscribers on iTunes. That's the power of video. You're afraid to do video, you're afraid to be exposed, you want to lose weight first, or you want to, I don't know, whatever it is. There's a lot of people with a lot of fears around video. That's the power of video. That's why you need to get over that. She's had 7.2 million views on her content. No wonder she just had a multi-million-dollar product launch. I mean, I couldn't even guess how much money she made on her last product launch, because now she has this huge audience. Just on this one blog post, she had 1,100 comments. How cool would that be? Entrepreneur on Fire. Has anybody heard of Entrepreneur on Fire? Not nearly enough of you. Every single person in this room needs to go to this website this weekend. Immediately, as fast as possible. John Lee Dumas, 18 months ago, was driving, well, I'll say 2 years ago, driving down the road, stuck in rush hour traffic, trying to get to his commercial real estate meeting, stuck in traffic 2 hours one way every day, and how he passed the time was by listening to podcasts. But there wasn't a 7-day-a-week podcast that he could get into, and he was oftentimes working on the weekends. He thought, I'm going to create a 7-day-a-week podcast and publish one episode every single day of the week. Quit his job, and now 18 months ago is when he launched Entrepreneur on Fire. He had an arsenal of, I don't know, 20 or 40 episodes that he had already done where he's interviewing entrepreneurs who are on fire. Within a year, he's getting 500,000 unique downloads every month. That means that if you go to his podcast and download 6 episodes, that counts as one, because you're one unique person. So he has 500,000 unique downloads every single month to that podcast in a year. That's incredible. From there, he published a book on Amazon called Podcast Launch. It's phenomenal. If you want to know how to start a podcast, read Podcast Launch. It's very specific, step by step by step, how to do it. Now he has 218 genuine 5-star reviews on Amazon for that book. Then by listening to his audience, they said, I want to know how to do a podcast too. Boom, he created a product called Podcaster's Paradise. This just launched October 2013. Just launched 6 months ago. He's already made $500,000 just off of people buying into Podcaster's Paradise. It's incredible. This is how you grow your content. As you grow your content, you're growing your audience. The next must-have is to build your following. Build your following. Opt-in offers. This is kind of obvious now. But you want to have an opt-in offer, and it shouldn't just say join my email list or sign up for my newsletter. Give them more value than that. Come up with something creative that gets them excited about your topic. Now, here's the easiest way to create an opt-in offer. Here's what I would encourage you to do. Go out and survey your audience. Whoever you think is the closest to your target market. It could be 1 person, it could be 10 people. Ideally, it would be 10. Ask them, what's your burning question about this topic? What do you want to hear from me? And you're going to start to see patterns in their burning question to where you can narrow it down to see the #1 most burning question that your audience has. Now that you know what their #1 most burning question is, all you have to do is answer it, and that becomes your freebie. Now, you can answer that in a variety of ways. I think the fastest, easiest way is to create an audio reply, right? We can record that with a microphone on our computer. Back before that, when I didn't know what I was doing, I would call into a free conference call line by myself. Hey, Amber, what's up? And I would hit the record button, say my audio reply, and it would automatically give me an MP3 audio file. And now I have my free product. Didn't have to edit it, just gave it away for free because I knew it would be of value. Another way you can do that, those of you authors, I know you love writing, make a PDF, make an ebook. Doesn't have to be very long. It could be 3 pages. Doesn't matter. As long as it gives value. Just like the sales representative, it's got to be good, right? And the temptation there is to get overwhelmed about that, right? Because we try to make it too perfect and then it never gets done. And then we get overwhelmed because we think so much stuff has to get crammed into it. It doesn't. I always say lead from the heart. You know, if somebody asks you a question in a networking event, you're going to answer it however you're going to answer it. Do that with your free product. Let that answer come from within. So here are some examples of other free offers there. And you can, by the way, put these opt-in boxes on different places of your website. On most of my websites, I have an opt-in box on the top right sidebar. It's a great place to put it. I have it at the bottom of every single blog post that I write. That way, as soon as they're done reading that blog post, boom, opt into my email list. And then I usually also have another opt-in box down in the footer area, because as they scroll to the bottom of the page, boom, opt into my email list. I give them plenty of different opportunities. Build your army. I want you to think about it as if you are literally building an army that's going to go out there and help you build your business and help you get more books sold. That's the way I look at it. The people that are on my email list connected to me on social media, they're my tribe. They're my family. There are so many of you sitting in this audience, and I'm so freaking excited to see you here. I just feel, my heart just opens up. I love seeing you all. That's how you have to feel about your audience. As authors, a lot of times we just want to write. I don't want to do all the marketing. I just want to write my book. I want to sit in my basement. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to sit in my pajamas, and I just want to write all day. Do you really want that, though? Because if you have your book out there and somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh my God, I loved your book. You changed my life. It was incredible. I was so excited." That feels good, right? So wouldn't you want more of that? And in order to get more of that, you're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to build that email list. You're going to have to be on social media. You just have to switch your mindset about it. Instead of thinking it's this big, horrible, ugly, horrible, time-consuming thing, think about it as, wow, I have an opportunity to get good feedback from my audience and impact more lives. That's the way I look at it. The next must-have is obviously you want to focus on sales, because without making money, it's not going to be a business that's going to stick around for very long, is it? And the worst thing is if you have to go get another job because you're not making enough money as an author. You have to find a way to monetize, and it probably isn't going to be with your book, right? There's very, very few people that can make a good living with your book. This is why we have to think of ourselves as entrepreneurs instead of just authors. It's a mindset shift. It's a business that we're creating here. Here's some of the most common popular ways to monetize. You can make a lot of money speaking. A lot of money speaking if you want to, if that's your thing. Coaching is a great way, especially if you have a how-to book. They're going to want that next step with you. People don't want to just know what to do. They need a partner to help them execute. That's why I have done-for-you services. That's why I'm building websites for people and coaching people, and I'm in the trenches with them because they want that from me. They love the strategy. They need to know that, but they also need somebody to help them execute. Online courses are awesome. Love online courses. I'm in the middle of one right now. It's an 8-week course. I'm teaching people really how to become an authentic leader. That's kind of the phrase that I've coined there. And literally, it's teaching you how to build your online platform, how to market and grow. And what I did is I took my topic and I broke it into 8 different categories. That's all I did. It took me 5 minutes. Broke it into 8 categories. That became my 8-week online course. I literally teach one category topic every single week. Next week, we're talking about social media. And it's an easy way to monetize because I don't actually have to have the whole thing created and done before I sell it. I create it along the way. In fact, that's the way I encourage you to do it. And this was hard for me in the beginning because I like things done before I go out and execute. But all of the feedback I kept getting is get feedback from your people while they're in the course, and then you'll make it the most perfect course that's really getting them results. So every week I'm asking the participants, what burning questions do you have? How can I improve? What do you really need from me? And then I go out and I create the next module. Membership sites. If you want to do a membership site, come talk to me because you think it's a great idea, you think it's a great way to monetize and make that monthly income, but there's a lot that goes into it, and most membership sites fail miserably. So let's have a conversation, and let me teach you what I know first so that you go out there and actually get good results. And then a digital product, let's say that you have somebody's burning question. turn it into 3 downloadable videos that they can watch and get the answer to that burning question, or turn it into an audio program or something like that. I'm going to go through and give you some examples that I thought were pretty good that you could consider. Hal Elrod, The Miracle Morning. Has anybody heard of it? Oh, man. You have to go buy this book. You have to. It's absolutely mandatory. It's called The Miracle Morning. It will change your life. I'm just telling you that right now, because every single person that has read that book upon my recommendation, they come back to me saying, that book changed my life. So Hal Elrod is actually somebody that sold Cutco cutlery with me back in the day. Oh, yeah. And he created this book called The Miracle Morning, which has turned into a whole movement. He's sold over 25,000 copies of his book now. In fact, he has a Facebook group that I have never seen. Of all the Facebook groups I'm a part of, I've never seen one more active that's getting results. People will literally go on there and say, it's my first miracle morning, or day 30 of my miracle morning. And basically, the book is all about a personal development routine where you wake up an hour earlier than you normally would have. I know, it was tough for me too. I'm thinking, I'm not a morning person. You've got to be nuts. I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. But I'm just telling you, if you try it one time, it will change everything for you. If you feel stressed, if you feel unsure about yourself, if you feel tired all the time, believe it or not, getting up an hour earlier and following his routine, you'll feel like you've never had so much energy in your life. It makes no sense to me how that's even logically possible, but I'm telling you it's the truth. So anyway, he has this Facebook group that's awesome, but what he decided to do was create a VIP success coaching program. $47 a month, where people can get access to Hal on a monthly basis. It's a once a month Q&A call with Hal. You can call in and ask your question to him. He has a series of a few videos that he's created. It's a very simple membership type, program here, but he's killing it with his $47 a month. So think to yourself, is there a $47 a month program in me? Could I do a monthly Q&A? Could I have a little, 10 videos that I create as a foundation to my topic? And then this is going back to the art of nonconformity. And Chris has created a bunch of these different products here, and we're going to dive deep into one here. Empire building kit. That's just his terminology. He's just using his personality. Think of it as a business building kit. I would encourage you to go to his website and look at his sales copy. Look at how he broke down his product here. But there are actually 3 different levels to this product. So think about your overall topic, and then think about it in terms of, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and you're selling that at different price points. So maybe the beginner is just literally an introduction to your topic, and then the intermediate is really building upon that, and the advanced is building upon that. And the beautiful thing is most people are coming in at $150, but now they want more. They're ready for that next step. So then they buy the $249, and then they buy the $449. It's a great way to monetize. And once you create that product, it's done. It doesn't require any more of your time unless you need to go back and update it, right? But when people buy your book, hands down, they want more from you. And so it's time to monetize the information that you have. And this is another example, Allie Brown here. Tons of product. Don't feel bad about that. If you're looking at somebody that has their stuff really together, they're monetizing, looks like they're getting great results. It took her time to build this. You hear a lot of people saying the 10-year overnight success. It takes a long time. I've been in business 7 years now, and it takes time to build this thing. Don't give yourself such a hard time about everything. Focus on building one product, the first product. By the way, you'll never forget your first product ever. It's kind of cool. And you fail forward, right? I mean, my first product, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ever sold that product, and that I flopped through the sales process, and it wasn't perfect, but I learned, and I got better, and I kept growing. Social media. This is the 6th must-have for your website. This is so, so, so important. Joel Comm, we'll have the pleasure of seeing him tomorrow after lunch. And love Joel. I love everything about what he's doing. But I want to point out, he has tons of social media infused throughout his whole website. Right there in the header of his website, he has the social networking icons. You can't miss it. He's screaming, stay in touch with me on social media. And it's perfect because not everybody's going to join your email list. Now, your email list is your #1 online asset. Not everybody's going to join it. People do unsubscribe over time, right? We try to limit that, but it happens. But on social media, chances are they're going to stay connected with you forever. Anytime you're promoting something, you're inspiring somebody, you can do that through social media and they'll stick with you. He also down here has social media sharing icons right on his homepage where you can literally click, I want to tweet this or I want to share this on Facebook. And not only are these people like promoting Joel for free, how nice is that, but it's a credibility booster. If you're just learning about Joel for the first time and you go to his website, you're seeing 1,000 people have shared him on social media. That's a credibility booster. It so doesn't stop there with Joel, though. He has this on his sidebar here. Does anybody know what clout is? Good job, Judith. Okay. So clout, for those of you that don't know, is a social media measuring tool. It measures your influence online. The more engagement you get on social media, engagement means that people are liking, commenting, and sharing your posts. The more engagement you get, the more influence you have. That kind of makes sense. Clout measures that on a 100-point scale. You want to have a 100, but it's almost impossible. Justin Bieber did it. I don't know how. Most people, I would say, my guess is most of the people in this room probably have a clout score of about 20, maybe 30. If you get into 70, you're in the top 10% of people online and social media. So it's really hard to get your clout score up. And you might be thinking, well, this is kind of silly. Who cares about a score? Actually, a lot of people. There are these things called perks, where let's say that you are flying across country and the flight that you're on is not completely full. Some airlines will figure out who on the plane has a high clout score and they'll upgrade you to VIP seating for free. Why? Because they know you're going to pull out your Facebook app and go, oh my God, I love American Airlines. They're so awesome. Look at what happened. Boom. Right? This happens all the time. I've heard stories about restaurants that, you'll walk into a restaurant and they'll say, oh, it's a 45-minute wait. Well, man, they don't want you spreading that all over social media. Oh, if this restaurant sucks, 45-minute wait. So clout's really, really important. And Joel is showcasing, he has an 84. So we're going to have to give him a round of applause when he comes. He's here. Oh, cool. He also has social media sharing icons at the bottom of his blog posts. He has more social media icons in the footer of his website, and he has more social media sharing icons at the top of each of his blog posts. You can't go anywhere in his website without seeing, hey, share my stuff on social media, and it works. It's a click of a button. It's really easy to do, and now people are sharing him for free, which is awesome. Marie Forleo. This is the power of social media. She also has the sharing icons, obviously. I went to one of her posts, just one. It was actually an interview that she did with Adam Braun. 1,200 comments and 4,000 shares on social media. I mean, really think about that for a minute. If I have, let's say I have 5,000 people in my social networks, and I decide to go up and click share, guess what? My 5,000 people now know about Marie for free. She didn't even have to do anything. She just offered great value, and I thought, this is awesome. My audience is going to love it. I'm going to share this on social media. That's the power of putting out great content and making sure those share buttons are easy to find. So those are my 6 must-haves for your website. I did want to try to have I think I have 5 or 10 minutes left for 5 minutes left for a couple of questions if anybody has one. Oh, and before I say that, I do have slots available all day for those 15-minute sessions. If you want to have all right. If you want to have a one-on-one session with me, you can sign up in the front desk out there, and I'll sit down with you for 15 minutes. We can look at your website. I'll answer any questions that you have there as well. But who has a question for me in this next 5 minutes? Yes?
Amber, how do you know how to price those online courses that you're doing?
How do you know how to write the online courses that you're doing?
Price.
Oh, price. How do you know how to price them? Well, that's a really good question. Sometimes, I mean, you can go out there and you can research what other people are doing. For example, for my 8-week course, this was the first time that I had done this particular course, so I offered it a little bit low. I think that I sold it for $500 for the 8 weeks. And then I had an upgrade option where if you wanted to get 2 strategy sessions with me during the course, it was $1,000, and most people did that option. So you can also be thinking about upsells. It really depends on your industry, it depends on your topic, it depends on how long it is. So, I mean, I know that I'm not answering your question very well here, but typically with an online course, you can charge anywhere from $200 to $1,000. There are other online courses. Marie Forleo's B-School, $2,000. She also has the credibility, she has the audience, she's proven her results. I don't think it's a bad idea to start a little bit lower, maybe in the $200 range, until you can get those testimonials. Then you go out on the next run, you open that up, and you double your price because now you've proven that you've gotten results with the program. I think the easiest thing, though, is just to research what other people are doing and go a little bit above or below that. Sure.
I have a nonprofit ministry, so I have my website for my nonprofit ministry, and I've written a book that can go under that. Do I do the website? I know that yesterday I asked the same question, but I'm still curious. Do I do a website with my name and then put the nonprofit ministry in that, and then the book in that, or do I have different websites? Or
Everybody's going to give you a different answer. I think since that nonprofit site is already up, I would definitely feature the book on there. But if you're an author, you should have an author website. You really should, because you are that brand, right? And this is independent of your nonprofit. Especially for those of you that are going to have multiple books, you are that brand. So you should have your own author website. And then you can sell speaking from that, you can have other products from that, and that might be independent of the nonprofit. So that's probably the easiest thing. I know that you're gonna have to invest in that second website, which is kind of a pain, but I think that long term, if you wanna be able to grow in any direction, that's really the way to go. Yes?
I have a question about this on-site, I mean your online courses or any of the others. Do you have to have any legal accreditation, or can you just start on your own? You know what I mean? Do you give credits, or?
I'm not 100% sure what you're asking. You said legal, though, and that automatically made me think of Steve Replin, who's right there.
Walked in. I'm curious about this. If you can just do an online course without any legal laws, why not? I don't know.
That's what comes up for me, but since I'm not an expert in legal, talk to Steve. I don't want to give wrong advice, especially on stage being filmed. Oh, yes.
I think what Jody's asking is from your experience with what the classes that you're doing, is there anything that you did legally before you did that?
There is nothing that I have personally done legally before I offered an online course.
Okay, so
But that's just me.
you just created the content, divided it up, and then set up the course how it is. So, Jody, did you hear that?
What was that?
She didn't do anything legally when she did it because she created her own content, and then she broke it up and did it as a course.
But that's just me. Again, I would speak to somebody like Steve. Yes.
Are you offering CEs?
Do we have other questions in the meantime? Rhonda.
All right, you're great about giving information free for, that's your...
That is my
free,
thing. Lots
right?
of free
So how
content.
do you decide when it's time to stop giving free?
I love this question. So the free versus should people pay me for my good content? This is an eternal debate, I'm telling you. In fact, I was just at JV Alert last weekend and somebody came up and said, are you the type of person that just gives away the farm, or do you think you should just give away a little bit and then charge for the rest? Everybody's gonna tell you something different. I'm just gonna tell you what I believe in and what I do. I give away the farm. because I know that if you see value in what I'm telling you right here, you're going to want to work with me because you're thinking, dang, she knows her stuff. She really is an expert. I need somebody like that on my team. But if I only show you 10%, you're not that certain about my value, right? So I believe in giving it away. In fact, every single week at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, I do a live Google Hangout video for half an hour giving away the farm on whatever topic. Just Tuesday was on affiliate marketing to make some extra income. The week before that was all on collaborations and how to build your audience faster. If you go to YouTube, search for Amber Ludwig, you'll see my YouTube channel, and you'll have more free, awesome content there than you'll even know what to do with. So I think that it's a great way just to prove your value and get more clients. And I see now I'm being told to stop. So I want to thank you so much for your attention and energy and support. And come find me if you want to join this webinar on Tuesday, because I would love to give you that content. What?